Hi everyone, welcome back. Today I wanted to make a video about my art. My artistic journey has kind of had this cross intersection with my adoptee identity and how my art in the beginning didn't really used to be about me. It was just about making things that I thought maybe looked pretty or nice to look at or something someone would want to buy. But now I've really started making a big pivot in my art, and I've been trying to make artwork about me. What that has allowed me to do is kind of find this space of agency and freedom to explore who I am and explore what that means to me, and how can I find pride, or how can I depict myself feeling prideful about who I am. My recent artwork, and I'm going to go through and kind of talk about them. Make stuff that feels like it's celebratory and it's about me. So I'm going to show you some of the artwork that I've done. The first one I'll talk about is Pride. That's this one. This is my Instagram. You can check out my Instagram. It's MSR Art. I just absolutely love this piece. It's probably my favorite piece. And it's just about celebrating who I am. Growing up, I went to a lot of like Chinese New Year events, and I got in kind of what Chinese culture was here in America. And I really was drawn to these lions. These lions felt strong and powerful and fierce, and I just always had an attraction to them. So I have like in my room, I don't know if you can see it, I can point it out to you. I have like lions up, a little lion figurine up there. And how could I incorporate myself into these lions and feel like it belongs to me, and I can own this, and I can celebrate this. So this is a painting that I came up with in order to celebrate that. Yeah, so that's the first one I did, and it felt really inspiring to do, and it started a whole lot of other artwork. I'll start popping them up on the screen now. I'll slowly cycle through them. Of artwork that I got to make that I now feel so proud about. I go to art markets and I vend and I sell these prints in person. This one is called Ethereal, and there's two parts to this. In the very back of the painting, you can see my Chinese characters going down in the archway. That's my Chinese name over and over again, and it's just kind of showing symbolically this is who I am, and let me explore and enter this new chapter of understanding myself. I also placed it in nature because I feel like being a part of nature has become a really big part of my healing process and feeling. So yeah, you can see the characters behind me. You can see this beautiful growing forest, and the forest is really meant to just kind of show I have abundance, and everything that I do and bring to the table can be abundance. I'll pop it up here. The second iteration of Ethereal 2, is really about self-mastery and understanding. I have these red characters. I have 3 bunnies and 1 phoenix and 1 snake. The self-understanding that I've come to thus far. They're creatures that accompany this figure in the middle that has transformed into a young woman instead of a young child, and she's adorned and dressed in a fancy, luxurious way, and so these animals also take part in partnering with her and go with her where she goes. It's the knowledge that I've built this far. It's the confidence that I've brought this far. That I've come to now have. Talk about is a pretty big piece for me. This is probably my biggest piece conceptually, at least. I'll pop it up here. It's called The Conversation. I am so proud of this drawing, painting. It's a little bit of everything. This one is depicting 2 people sitting down in chairs, kind of sitting in a room together, talking to each other. And the idea of this conversation is really just American me sitting across from who would have stayed in China, Chinese me, had I not been adopted, and those two figures having a conversation. They're having a conversation about what life is like for American me, which is me. But it's also talking about how can I imagine myself having a conversation with a version of me who had stayed in China? And how would that go? Would I feel remorseful as the American me? Would I feel jealous? Would I feel sad? Would I feel excited for Chinese me to have all these opportunities that American me kind of got stripped away from? Yeah, that's kind of like what the discussion is about. It's kind of putting up to your imagination. What would these two figures be talking about? What are all the unknowns that American me wants to know from Chinese me, or vice versa? Yeah, and just like making space to facilitate conversations and use imagination to find points of healing is what that piece is about. I made a few other ones. This one is more playful and kid themed. Like, it's two little kids riding on the back of a dragon, and there are dragons surrounding them, and it's kind of thinking about what can freedom feel like for somebody who is adopted. Because I think a lot of times it's, at least I have found for me, I have, in terms of finding freedom or for myself, and think, what can I give myself through my artwork? One of those things is freedom. Freedom of expression, of depicting myself how I'd like, in the spaces I want to be in, with the people or the creatures I want to be with. And so in this one, I've decided to depict myself with dragons, and how that can lead to me feeling free. How that can lead to me imagining myself in a reality that I get to create, instead of someone, other people making decisions that gratefully impacted my life. How can I redirect that and make it about where I want to put myself and where I deserve to be? This one I made too, and it's just about, as an Asian girl, kind of looking a certain way in the world, seeing you a certain way. But this piece is called Inner Beast because I have a fire and I have a energy within me, and honestly an inner beast within me that feels strong and confident now. And that's my artistic self speaking. That's the me who's gone through, a good amount of therapy, speaking and saying, wow, this is really me now. And I can feel super proud about the work I've done. And I can celebrate who I am now. And I could have always celebrated who I am. But I've worked so hard to getting to a point where I feel I'm giving myself allowance to celebrate myself, that's what I do now. And so yeah, that's what my art's been about, guys. Hey, you can actually show up in shows with your art. You can actually be in magazines with your art. And people can learn about you and follow your journey and really just cheer you on. So that's what this is about. Thank you so much for listening to me talk about my art. I hope I popped in pictures of my studio and in progress pictures about my paintings too, because I think that's fun to see. Thank you so much for supporting me. My prints are available. I'll link the Shopify link down below. You can order them online and I'll ship them to you. I have an upcoming show that I'll be posting on my Instagram about. That's my first solo show, so that's really exciting. So stay tuned to hear about that. And I will catch you guys all later. I hope you have a good new year. And I hope that you find your own sense of belonging, healing, and security for this year. All right. Bye.